I'll try this right again. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dim. Sure, who am I? My name's Lisa Gaye Dixon. I'm on faculty in the Department of Theater here at University of Illinois. And so I teach and direct, and I also work professionally, occasionally, Chicago, regional theaters in New York and what have you. And so that's how I keep my hand in doing things as an artist as well as a teacher. So that's who I am: actor, teacher, director. That's awesome. Funny person. Yeah. One of the first things I always do is try and figure out where I know there is something I have in common with that character. And sometimes it is something that I don't like about myself, but that's still good because that's the doorway in, because that's where you have to have some sympathy for your character. You have to bring yourself to the character. You have to recognize the humanity of the character. So making sure that there's a collaborative process, that the actor has a voice, an empowered voice. I always have to make sure that it's fun, because, you know, why the hell are we doing it if it's not fun? So I very specifically and pointedly, both in my teaching and my directing, I try to use a lot of humor, a lot of comedy. Sometimes, but because it's, you know, there is that adage, you know, when you're laughing, you don't even know you're learning, or whatever that is knitted on a pillow somewhere. But it's also the idea that when you're laughing, you're relaxed and you're open. When you have a connection that goes beyond just, here's the job that we're here to do. And also, you can't be super arrogant when you're laughing about a fart joke with somebody. You can't. Just because as an African-American woman in America, and given the current state of affairs, I've already lived through a lifetime of not having my voice heard, so I already know what it's like to be 23 years old and not have your voice heard. You know, say you're from, you know, Upper Sandusky, Ohio, or, you know, I don't know, Tuscola, and you haven't had your voice heard. So you have to have your voice heard. So one of the reasons specifically I wanted to do this play, A, it's a very funny play. B, it's a little sexy. It's basically a play about sex, but with, you know, Victorian trappings. So, you know, it's palatable to some. But it's specifically for women. There is a type of empowerment. I mean, it has to do with the orgasm, but it has to do with much more than that. But it's the idea of the empowerment specifically of women, and then in a wider circle of women and men, and we're speaking just in terms of heterosexual right now, but that they need the recognition that pleasure is not something to be ashamed of. Keep reaching out to the world and connect to the world around you. Be curious and make mistakes. Because A, that's the only way you're gonna learn, the only way you're gonna get better at what it is you wanna do. Be willing to make mistakes, and be willing to allow others to make mistakes. Because also that's sometimes where some of the best art comes from, is mistakes.